And we're live. Hi. Hello, everyone
Hi.
at Intuition of the Soul. And this is a first for us. We are going across platforms with our speakers platform. So we want to greet everybody. I'm making sure that we're showing up. There's a little bit of a delay, Kim. So
Got it.
for it to show up, I'm up on mine. Is it on your? Are you on your page?
I am on my page
Hi, Jamie.
on,
Um,
yeah, go ahead.
so
Okay,
um,
let me see. All right, Lori Beth is watching on my end. All right, we're on
we're
Empath
on.
Healing for Peculiar Souls and Intuition of the Souls as well. So thank you, Kitty. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
And Amy may be joining us, or maybe hi Jennifer. Jennifer, there's
Jamie.
my look. I want to. I'm going to
Yes.
wait a couple minutes, Jennifer, because then I want to show off your amazing merchandise, and I have to stand up to do it. But Amy may be joining us. She was with her daughter today, and they encountered a storm, so it's very slow going. So, we wish told Amy, don't hurry to get home. Safety is much more important.
Oh, yeah,
So,
for sure. And I
so,
can always come back on again with you guys if you want. We'll see
so
how this goes, though.
I think this is going to be an amazing journey.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
so, and anyway, well, first of all, I want to give a shout out to okay, Amy just sent me a message. The kids are screaming and I'm not home yet. Way too chaotic to jump on. So she's not going to try to broadcast from the car with the kids. That would probably be a good choice. So first of
Yeah.
all, I want to give a big shout out to my buddy Jennifer because I have on her merchandise. Here we are,
Yes.
Awakened Soul. Um, Beautiful. So Jennifer, would you please, by the way, post in IOTS the so people can find your merchandise for Mystic Wellness. I love this. I was explaining to Kim though that it's been a lesson for me um, about where I would wear Awakened Soul. And only because we talked about it, it might be because, as many of you know, when we go out in public, we tend to have our light tends to attract people. And
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm trying to go buy my yogurt at Walmart or something that I want to have a discussion. So I love this shirt and I will be wearing it in very sacred places, I think that I've decided. But it gave me some new stuff for meditation to take a look at. So that's I
Yeah.
want to say thank you. So yeah, because really, if I'm over trying to buy Chobani or whatever, and somebody, so what's an awakened soul? Thank you, Kim, for that. Because I was like, why is this? Am I hesitating about throwing, a T-shirt on? So,
I
but
know.
it's a beautiful T-shirt. So here it is again, guys.
It's
Awakened
so
soul.
cute. The
It's
unicorn.
very cute. Yeah,
It's like the unicorn. So
yeah,
cute.
it's absolutely, and it's a great, very nice quality. I
Mhm.
highly recommend it for folks. So,
Yeah, but I said that. I said, I'm sure you get approached all the time, like I do in the grocery store or any store.
mm-hmm.
And by the time I've gone out of the store, I've learned four people's life stories, all their traumas. Like, I'm like, I just came in for yogurt, just,
Yeah,
and it turns into like a 5 minute, I'll just pop in real quick to like 25, 30 minutes later, your husband's like, what took so long? And I'm like, I said hi to somebody. And it was just like 20
yeah.
minutes of,
So, hi,
but it's,
Jamie. Hi, Teresa. Hi,
yes,
Beth. Um, hi,
yes,
Paula.
Jeanette,
My
I see.
lessons from the lake woman. I love her lessons from the lake. I love to post them.
Oh, that's
Paula.
awesome.
So,
Marietta, Beth, Sean, Teresa. Oh, it's so cool. Paula, Robin, Jamie. I'm so glad you guys are all here. Yay.
yeah. All right. So, I invited Kim. I met her via Jennifer, and got to something about her energy, her empathic energy, and who she is was like, I want to talk to this woman.
Oh,
And so I called her up and we exchanged stories. And I'm like, why don't you come on and talk about what you do? And as always, these programs are for all of us to learn about all of our journeys and make new connections and networks. And I'm thrilled these days. I see Robin showing up on Michelle Brandenburg. I see Jeanette Byro coming on. And I feel very blessed that I have brought a lot of those people together. So I'm very grateful that the network is growing, and that's always been the idea behind IOTS, was a place as everybody brings their networks and another place to meet. So Kim, you're joining our family. This will be in our playlist on YouTube. She's our 31st or 32nd presenter, I have to look,
Oh
that
my
has come
gosh.
on to share and tell us their stories and share with us, as Chrissy Newman would say, her special sauce. So
Ooh.
why don't you tell us how your kind of awakening story, or how it evolved in your lifetime, because we love, hi Sabrina, hi Sean, we love to hear those, because many of us out there are still in this awakening piece. And I'm telling you right now, you'll be sitting here in a couple years sharing how these stories came forward. So why don't you, I'll let you take it away.
Okay, that's awesome. Yes, I'd love to share my story with everyone. And well, just I'll start out with I've always known that I was special or different or gifted. I can remember as a child, I want to say I was 2 years old. I can see myself standing in my crib and just literally having these conversations with whoever was there. Like there was some kind of spirit, um, some kind of energy that I just hung out with. And that's all I remember, but I do remember it very clearly. And ever since then, as I was growing up, I've had a lot of experiences with energies, spirits, ghosts, precognitive visions. I'm very
Tell us a
clairvoyant.
little bit about that precognitive vision, because I know you're very clairvoyant. And as people are looking at what can they do, kind of what does that look like?
The precognitive visions that I've had have literally just popped up. I was not meditating or doing anything special. I saw it right before it happened. So one instance was I was driving in the car with my dad when I was in probably high school, just a few years ago. Just kidding. Um, I wish. But we were driving and I saw a black cat run across the headlights, in the headlights on the road because it was nighttime. And before I could say, like, Dad, watch out for the cat. There's a cat's going to run in front of the car. I went like this to tell him, and the cat had run across the, in front of the car. And he's like, oh my gosh, did you know that was going to happen? I was like, yes, I was trying to tell you, but it happened too fast. And he's like, oh, darn. Okay. And like, that was it. So, that's like an example. Another one I had was, I believe I had like a precognitive dream where I was seeing these two kids playing with a black and white dog. And I woke up that morning, like I woke right up out of it. It was right when I woke up. I don't know, it was daytime, 9 o'clock in the morning or something. And I went out of my room and I told my mom, I said, I think two kids and a dog that's black and white are going to move in next door. And she goes, oh, they're out back playing right now in their backyard. And I'm like, oh, okay. So she's like, how did you know that? And I said, I just saw it. I don't know. So that's my precognitive. That's how that works. There's no rhyme or reason for it.
But it's, so many people that come to intuition of the soul and also are on your page are just exploring all of this. So it's really cool when you hear these stories. So anyway, you've been doing this since 2, so keep going with your story. I love people's stories.
Oh, yes. So I've always been connected to some kind of energy, spirit. I've known things. I have felt things. I'm very connected to animals, to people, to literally just energy. I don't even know how else to explain it. That's just the easiest way to say it. And it's evolved and evolved and evolved. And honestly, I thought everyone was like that. I had no idea that this was different. And the reason why I thought it was normal is because I used to talk so openly about it with my dad growing up. And he always was very receptive and sat there and asked questions, and he would give his 2 cents and tell me, like, well, if you feel like something's not right, then don't do it. If basically if your intuition is telling you, Kim, don't go down that road, um, something, if your intuition's telling you, he's like, believe it and trust it. And I've always done that. And I just thought that was a normal thing growing up. But apparently it's not. So
Well, it's very interesting to me that did your parents then kind of support you all the way through, because you were obviously saying things to them that they didn't, like, how did you know that happened, or how did you know those people?
right. Um, I'm a very open person. Like, what you see is what you get with me. I'm like this all the time. This is just how I am. So, and I'm very open, and I ask a lot of questions. And growing up, I would share things because like I said, I thought this was normal. And my father was always very, like I said, very receptive and open, and he shared with what he experienced and, things like that. My mother, on the other hand, was not like that at all. She, I don't know how to say it. Let's just say she didn't encourage me to she just thought she said, stop being weird. Stop being weird. And
Being peculiar, perhaps?
yes, God forbid, stop being yourself. Stop being overly sensitive. You're so sensitive, Kim, and all this and that,
Wait, isn't that amazing? I was always told, you're just so sensitive. Like there was something wrong with that. And it took me many years to go, so what's wrong with being sensitive? Like,
exactly. It's so confusing. I feel like that's the worst thing you can say to a child or even a grown person, stop being so sensitive. Don't cry. And I'm like, why? Why am I not allowed to feel? Because you don't feel it? Why does that make it okay? Why are you right and I'm wrong? Why can't I be right and you be wrong? Obviously, no one's right or wrong. It's just how they feel about the situation or about the sensitivity. And I did have trouble with that growing up with, just my mother. We just kind of butted heads. And, but as I got older, I really had a lot of like really negative, like weird experiences with negative energies and things like that. And I didn't know what to do because I didn't know it was a thing. I thought this was just how life is, and you just go with the flow. And
well, there's no place that you, especially years ago, where you go and you look this up, that somebody it's hidden in the corner of the library, the book. You want to learn about what?
yeah.
You
And
know,
no one
so.
opened my eyes to it because I thought it was normal. Literally, I thought everyone was the same way. But as I grew up, I became a mother. I have a 22-year-old son. And as I grew up, I had some trauma happen. My dad took his life, and my dad was my entire world. He was literally my hero. He was everything. And when he did that, my gifts went off the charts. The trauma set everything into motion, and it was out of control because I didn't know what I was doing. I wasn't trying to do anything, but I wanted him back. I wanted him to just, Dad, just give me a sign, just, I miss you, I love you, what's happening. I was very confused, I was very stressed, I was very depressed. And as I was doing that, being on a lower vibration and being depressed and having all that trauma and sadness and not having the support that I needed. My husband was very supportive, but he did the best he could with what he knew. And he just, you know what I mean? Like he did the best. but I needed more, and I didn't know what I needed. I just needed more. And I learned a lot because I wasn't handling my gifts properly, because I was wide open and I just invited everybody in, spiritual spirits, everything.
Did you
And when
sleep?
no, I did not sleep.
I bet you didn't.
Nope. We had a lot of action happening in that house. Doors flying open and cabinets and
Hmm.
checkerboards flying out of the, I mean, blinds were rocking all night long. It was pretty terrifying for a good solid I want to say year and a half after he passed. And anyway, long story short, I got a grip on it. I learned some things. I figured some things out. I learned how to control myself, and I learned how to send that yucky stuff away. You know, I sent it on its way, and we never had an issue since. So I started kind of learning. I started reading books, understanding energy. It's so important, and it's so key to happiness and life and joy. And I geek out on energy. Anything
Hmm.
energy, I am like, I geek out on it so hard because it's so important. And I don't know, I just, ever since then, it was better. And then we moved to Colorado 3 weeks before the pandemic hit back in 2020. um and I was kind of feeling like lost. I was
Hmm.
still feeling that lost feeling. I don't know where I fit in. I don't know what to do with myself. What is wrong with me? Blah, blah, blah. And I took Michelle Gailey's intuitive life coaching certification program. I just graduated on the 8th of this month. Yay! But that literally changed my life. And the reason is because I was surrounded by so many wonderful, like minded people who understood who I was, and I understood who they were. And we had the deepest conversations. I love deep conversations. I like talking about, I'm getting zings just thinking about it. I just love talking about juicy stuff that's like so cool. And I've created so many amazing friendships, but I've also done a lot of healing. I've healed from my dad's suicide. I have healed from my mother's, our oil and water relationship. Um, and I have found myself again. And I am so excited to be where I am today. I'm a totally different person than I was a year ago. Um, I feel like I found Kim again. I feel like I was the same person as a young child,
Hmm.
And I I'm so excited to share what I've learned and what I know now to help other empaths who struggle on a daily basis with not feeling heard, not understanding why they're feeling a certain way. Um, just like, it's okay to be an empath. It's cool to be an empath. It's not, some people say, um, it's a curse, and I'm like, it's not a curse. I think it's amazing. I love feeling everything. If I didn't feel what I feel, I would not know what to do with myself. I would feel lost and alone,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't have all that extra connection around me, the energy, the spirit, whatever, the spirits, all that. I wouldn't know who that would be.
Well, and I think that that's one reason why it's really great to hear stories, because so many of us have felt isolated for so long.
Hmm.
And depending on your age, that could be, decades. And, but it's also, we have a lot of similar things happen to all of us. And this amazing amount of energy, talk about energy, this 2020 2022 portal that is awakening. But one of the things that's important is exactly what you said, is you have to learn about your gifts.
Mhm.
Finding not only like-minded people, but finding, we've actually done a course that just talks about, look, there are ebbs and tides. So,
Mhm.
remember how everything in the beginning was like, yes, 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 yes. And then all of a sudden you're like, did I lose it? Did it
Yeah.
go away?
Where'd it go?
Where'd it go?
Yeah.
And there are ebbs and tides, and there are just practices that we learn to have. I did see a question, so I
Oh,
want to go back to it. I think it was Rachel. Um, I've had feelings like that, but I always consider them premonitions. I like the term you use. Are they the same or different?
um, I think a premonition is a pre-feeling about something, and oh gosh, a precognitive is knowing. Clairvoyant is seeing. Premonition, I feel like, is a feeling of knowing that there's something coming up. I don't know though. I mean, don't quote me, you guys. You know how I get. I'm like, I don't know. But it's
Well,
not a premonition. When you have a vision of something, it's called a precognitive vision. And now a
mhm.
premonition, I feel like, is a feeling of something coming. I don't
Well,
know. Some,
definitely, it's a definite, and it's usually a little more time out. You said yours tend to happen like right
mhm.
um, as they're coming, like the kind that tells you don't get on the plane, don't get on the plane, don't get on the plane.
And
Yeah,
don't get on that plane.
yeah, don't get on that plane.
Don't get on that plane.
Well, and one of the things that is really important that I think you're talking about is it is a journey. You know, not very many of us were born with. Kedrick Olson was one of our guests, and he had a family that decided to let him try all these different religions and took him to all these things. That was not my family, you know, you know.
Yeah.
So it's so nice to be able to find people now, find a like-minded people, things that you're drawn to, and it's really important that we explore it. That I mean,
Yeah.
one reason we started our channel was just to bring other people on to talk about. I was in Michelle's class. I was in Intuition Circle, and it was really through that I met some of the other people, and that finally I came out of the closet as an astrologer. So,
A
you
good
know,
thing.
but the mediumship piece was really helpful because I realized this isn't a me. I can tell the difference now when sometimes I will occasionally be doing a chart reading and somebody's grandmother will come. You need to tell her, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
oh, okay. Um,
Okay.
so hi, Dusty. So, but anyway, so let's keep going with your. I think that it's amazing. Congratulations on your graduation.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I was excited. I'm like, oh, I did it. I finished. um, yeah, well, and going back to my dad, he and I were so much alike, and such an interesting relationship because anything that he told me, I believed and I trusted. Um, I just knew that he was like my protector, or he was my, I don't know, he was like my guy. It was just a weird, it was so cool. And he always was looking out for me and everything. And one morning he was, he used to drive out of state, and he would drive to Wyoming from Colorado to go to work. And he would spend like 2 weeks there, and then he'd come back. He just traveled back and forth. And he would leave early, like 3 in the morning, because it took so long to get up there, and he had to be there at a certain time. So he would leave real early in the dark. And I remember, I don't know what happened. I don't remember having um, anything major, but something must have happened to me while I was sleeping, and he was getting ready to go. I flew out of a dead sleep. I flung the door open, and at this point I was 22 because I moved back home for a little bit. I flew out, I opened the door, and I went running to the front door, and we had a closet there where we had all our jackets and things. And my mom was standing there, and she was helping him get his jacket on. I go running out, and I said, "Dad, take that green vest off. Take it off." And he's like, "Why?" And he literally had it on. Okay. And I said, "You can't wear that today. Don't wear that today. Do not wear that green vest." Or maybe it was a green jacket. It was a down, puffy down. This was so long ago, you guys. But it was a distinct, I think it was a green puffy jacket. And he had it on. I said, "Take that jacket. Do not wear that jacket. Do not bring that jacket. Just put something else on." And he literally didn't question me. He took it off and he goes, "Okay, I'm taking it off." And it wasn't like, "Okay, I'm appeasing you, Kim. I mean, he literally trusted what I said, and he's like, "I'm doing it. I'll do it." And he did it, and he made it up there safely, and I was so relieved to hear that he made it safely. Now, my mom, of course, "What was that all about? Why are you telling?" I said, "I don't know. I just told him he didn't need to wear that jacket today." Well, interestingly enough, that was the same jacket he passed wearing. He was wearing that jacket when he passed, but that was many years later, maybe 15 years later. So something about that jacket, it's like I felt like he's going to be wearing that jacket when he passes, and now is not the time. I guess it happened later. So that was just kind of weird. And when he did have his episode, whatever, the first thing I asked was, "What was he wearing?" And my mom's like, "What?" And I said, "I need to know what he was wearing." And he was in his truck, and he had that jacket on. And when he was going on that trip, he was driving that same truck, and he would have had that same jacket on. So I don't know, but
I think that those are the things, though, that one reason we come and we find each other is not everything has to have complete clarity, and there may be down the road other people who bring you the clarity. I so trust the people now that tell me things, or
listen.
and
We're
listen.
listening.
Yeah, and I haven't had that. I'm going to be 62 this year, and it wasn't until I was 58 or 59 that I feel like I was Kitty, that I became the person I was supposed to be. But I needed all that time. I mean, I have stories when I was a little girl and my dad came home, and I was 3, and he's like, "What's wrong, honey? Did you lose your doll?" I said, "No, Dad, there are just people making bad decisions, and the world can be very sad, and I don't understand why they have to do it." And he always told the story. It's like he looked at me like I had 8 heads. Like, who is this
How would you
child?
know? You're 3.
I was 3, but
Right.
I did know that, and it was, right, with all those, "Oh, you're too sensitive. Oh, why do you need to know that? How come?" And it really does take us finding each other. So it's very cool. I love these stories, and people out there, because when we don't know what we have, and we find people who say, "Oh yeah, I do that," you go, "Phew."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. You're like, "Wait, that happened to you too? Oh my gosh, let's talk about it." I always get so excited. I'm like, "When did it happen? What time was it?"
Yeah. What number showed up for you today? So,
Yeah. What time was it?
what time, right? Oh, and that was happening, it's a particularly busy time in the stars right now. And so I'm forever watching the clock going, "Oh yeah, that's what's happening right now." And
Right.
so it's really exciting. I love to. So tell us about what you do now, what you offer. I've seen the card readings; they're absolutely amazing. As a matter of fact, I'm going to throw you under a bus at some point and say, "Can you give us one kind of for the collective out there, where you think we are?" So,
like right now? Like
well,
before
talk
we
for
get
a
on?
little bit, but you know,
Sure.
and then I would love, because what I think all of us have learned is we pin what doesn't fit us right now, and but there's always something. And especially if it activates us,
Right.
that means there's something for us to look at. Just like I was talking to you about the shirt, looking at it being activated. Love the shirt, want to wear it. But why was I thinking about where do I wear it? Because probably there is exactly um, a need for me to be aware um, of how I want to live in this world. That's a goal of mine, you know. And when I'm going for yogurt, I want to try to turn off that gift I have that isn't the time for me to be using it.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's with anything, I don't know. It's like you're going in with intention. So I guess if you're having that shirt on, if someone's going to talk to you about it, then you put the intention out there, I guess, or the advertising or something like that. But I got her badass light worker hoodie, and I tell you what, I can't wait to wear that.
I looked at the badass one, um, you know. Well, but I also think it's that part of us why we find each other. What you're talking about when we learn about our gifts, accepting our own boundaries with
Mm-hmm.
our gifts. Like some people will say, "Oh, they're always talking to me in my dreams." Well, then ask them not to talk to you in your dreams if
Right.
you're not sleeping.
Right.
This is a co-creation,
Yeah.
and you're the other. It's taken me a long time to understand I'm the other part of co. Oh, it doesn't. I don't have to just turn it over and accept whatever comes my way. No, I can go, "Hey, this sucks."
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Go somewhere else.
yeah, go
I
somewhere else.
And I learned that the hard way. I told you I dealt with that yuckiness in our old house for a year straight, and it was all night long. I Between that and our son, who was also being affected by it. Of course, my husband slept like a baby, but he was also affected by it, and yeah, that was a long year. But
And that's really important that we talk about that because, sometimes when we watch people that have been doing this a long time, we don't get to hear about
like the scary stuff, I
the
guess.
scary stuff that we didn't know how to deal with. And isn't
Yeah,
it great? It's really nice now in this awakening. There are places to go and talk about and go, hey, this makes me uncomfortable. Well, let's tear it apart. Some of it, um, one gentleman said to me, I don't like the word ego. I like our human being. Is this
yeah,
my human being doing this? Or is this something in the spiritual realm that just is not meant for me? Everyone who knows me knows that for years I walked into a room, no, you're here, don't need to see you. Even as a little kid, and my parents would be like, would you stop saying that? I'm like, but there's somebody here and I don't want to talk to him. So
yeah.
I do thank spirit for giving me that gift up front. Nope. Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's funny. But when we did have that terrible time in our old house, I did call on a medium and a ghost buster, like a ghost hunter gal, and she came to the house with her assistant, her partner in crime, and
Mm-hmm.
all she kept saying, she goes, Kim, you have the power to make it go away. You have to tell it to go away. And I'm like, I don't understand what you're saying. She goes, it's in you. You have the power. And I was like, fine, go away, go away, go away. And she's like, that's not going to work. And I'm like, give me more direction.
Yeah.
I'm a very structured person. I'm like, just tell me what to do. And she said, you have to do it. And it took me probably a good solid month. No, that's not true. Maybe a good solid week. I don't know. Somewhere around there, a weekish.
It was a long time to try to do it though.
I'll tell you what, I was like, I don't want to not sleep anymore. What do I need to do, lady? And my light bulb went off, and I said, oh, like I genuinely can't help you. So I can genuinely tell you, I am so sorry, mister. I cannot help you. I bless you and send you on your way. You'll find somewhere else to go. Bye
Mm-hmm.
bye. And I literally, because I knew I couldn't help him. And as
Yeah.
soon as I knew in my heart and soul, and I told him that with my heart and soul and my guts, I literally felt his presence leave, and he never came back. So if anyone's out there struggling and having some kind of weird energy in their house, you need to just say, you know what, I cannot help you. I bless you and I send you on your way. You'll find somewhere else to go.
Yeah, knowing your boundaries, as much as I laugh about how I walked into rooms, I was really like, no, I don't need to see you. I can hear you. It's okay if you say something to me, but I do not need to see you. I do
Yeah.
not need to have that. Uh, and now I'm getting braver. I'm like, okay, but can you show up during the day? This
Yeah.
thing about at night, what, mm-mm, you
Yeah.
know,
This crap
um,
with you standing next to me on the side of the bed needs to stop.
yeah, you know, here's my window,
Yeah.
daylight, you know, um, but I am starting to see more things in a time that it's acceptable, and that's one of the biggest things to learn in your awakening is this is a co-creation. You're being awakened for a reason, but
Mhm.
it's your co-creation of this,
Right.
in the shower. Yes, Teresa,
Oh,
I actually had my uncle once come talk to me. And I actually said, "Get the hell out of here." I realize in spirit it doesn't matter, but I'm not comfortable in the shower naked having a conversation with my uncle. It's weird, you know?
that's like, you're not looking, right? You're just talking into my eye or my
Yeah,
ears.
I'm sure it makes no difference to you, but I don't want to be dealing with it. And I could actually smell his cigars. I'm like, "Really? I'm in the
Mhm.
shower." You know?
Yes.
And so it is very important. So I love hearing stories like that because we get people who go, well, I can't do it, and I just get overwhelmed. If you're overwhelmed, then it's time to step back and figure
Yeah.
out where can you put your next energy.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, tell us about you, and what you're doing, and you're a fascinating guest. So
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. I'm just having a ball. Thank you. Um, okay, so yeah, so I call myself an intuitive energetic flow coach. So what my goal is to work with empaths and get their energy flowing because so much yuck sticks to us. It sticks to our aura from other people. And we feel that when we walk into a room, like, oh God, something feels weird. Who's fighting? What's going on? Or you're at a store and there's some grumpy person next to you and you're just like, ugh. Because their energy is coming, it's sticking into your aura. And I think for a lot of people who work outside the home, um, and they're engaging with people all day long, they come home and they're just like, oh my gosh, like teachers who are empaths. Oh my goodness. Yes. I mean, I've had my teacher friends reach out to me just like last week. They're like, okay, the school year is starting next week. What do I need to do? And I'm like, oh my God. So, clearing that energy out of your aura, clearing your chakras on any level. If you're having like a sadness, like a trauma. I literally felt a hole in my heart when my dad left. My heart was broken. My fire was put out. I had nothing. I felt like half of me died. I didn't know what to do with myself. I wish I knew somebody like me back then. I didn't have anybody to work through that, to get everything flowing again. Because without the flow of our chakras spinning and feeling unblocked and all of that, um, it just it's kind of stops us in our tracks. It makes us feel tired. We get kind of disassociated. We get like we're spinning from room to room and we're just like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing. Like I when I get to that point, I know I have to like really just sit down and cleanse my aura, focus on my chakras, like where's the blockage, what's happening. um and I do that now, quite frequently, just to keep open because I want to have that connection to the universe. I want to have that flow. I want to be on that higher vibration and not on that lower vibration where you feel depressed and you're eating yucky foods and then you feel yucky about eating the yucky foods and then you're just like, oh my God, and you're so tired and you're sleeping. You're
mhm.
not living your true life. Like, let's be the best we can be let's be unicorns, like, because that's what we are, you guys. We're magical beings and we have so much to offer, and there's so much out there. Like, don't let other people's energy bog you down. And that's, being an empath, that is very common, is to have all that crap stick to us, and then we don't understand why we feel a certain way, so yucky. Yeah, Teresa is saying, and nurses who are empaths. Yes, definitely. I definitely, I have a friend who's an empath and who uh, is a nurse, and I don't know how she does it. Actually, I have a couple people that work in the nursing, in the hospitals and emergency room, and they're just like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to, I'm like, I don't know how you do it. I freak out just being a patient in there. I'm like feeling everybody else's stresses. I'm like, what? Why are you freaked out? What's going on?
Well, but that's part of what you're talking about. We do learn.
Mhm.
I was a teacher, and you know, the level, but there was gifts in that. I was always picked to do observations. I was able to work with kids' behavioral needs more because I empathically knew kind of what was behind it. But it
Right.
was draining. And when you don't understand what it is, you don't have a practice, you don't have a structure to approach
Right.
it. You just think, I'm weird, I'm peculiar, you know.
I know. And also too, if you're going into I'll just say teaching, just because that's,
Hmm.
what I'm thinking of. If you're going in as a teacher and you're already stressed out, like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna feel so tired by the end of the day. If you go in with a different perspective, like, you know what, these I'm going to teach these kids today. If anyone comes to me with anything, I will tend to it. I will give this child as much focus and listen to them as much as I can. But, you know, then when they walk away, you just kind of like give it back to them. It's like, okay, bud, you're good. Great. And then literally just, you need to just kind of wipe it off.
Hmm.
Obviously, if something is traumatic, or if, they need your help on a different level, then obviously that's a whole different thing. But kids are going to be coming to you all day long. Miss so and so, I have a problem. Oh my God, Timmy threw this at me, and and you're just like, oh my gosh. So you just kind of have to block it off a little bit and not take everything so nurturing, because that's our personality. We like to nurture, we like to care for, we want to make sure everyone's happy, we don't want anyone to feel sad or left out. And that's where the drain comes in, I believe.
Well, and I think that that's a key when you're an empath, learning some tools not to absorb it. What's mine? What's theirs?
Right.
What activates me? Um, and that's really when we talk about self care. Our day should be planned around our self care
Mm-hmm.
versus where do we put our self care in? Because our self care is what clears us. Our self care is what grounds us, opens our chakras, and also accepting that there are days we aren't gonna we it doesn't work.
Right.
You know, the best I
Right.
can do is put my 2 feet on the ground and sit outside and go, okay, I'm in a surrender mode. You
Yeah.
know, empaths have a hard time surrendering.
Well, we do, because we're so caught up in catering to everybody else and making sure that everyone else is okay, because we know how it feels to not feel okay. We know how it feels to not feel listened to. We know how it feels to um, get our feelings hurt and feel, sensitive about things. And so as empaths, we kind of go above and beyond to cater to everybody else to make sure that they're okay, because we don't want them to feel the way we've ever felt in our lives.
Hmm.
But like you said, if all of a sudden a headache comes on out of nowhere, you need to ask yourself, is that mine or is that
Yeah.
person? Or I'm feeling anxious all of a sudden. Why am I feeling that? And then you
Hmm.
look around and there's some girl, standing next to you in line who's just like, like so nervous, and you're like, okay, that's hers. That's not mine.
Yeah. Well, and that is why your practices. I love that idea of wiping it clean. You know what they're showing me is those air filters where you pull them out and you rinse them off? It's like
Yeah.
daily we need to pull it off and rinse it off,
Yeah.
because otherwise that's when our bodies step in and say, time out,
Right.
and we also, it's hard to let go, as an empath, that we have to fix everything. Really, only our lives are our business, not their lives, even though we're picking it up. So we might be able to
Right.
support them, but we aren't here to solve it. That's a very hard lesson for an empath,
Yeah. Yeah,
you know?
it sure is. Yep. And by the time we're feeling so drained ourselves and we're like, oh gosh, I should probably do some self-care. It's kind of like when you're all of a sudden you're so thirsty, but you're already dehydrated.
Yep.
It's like you're too late. You should have had a drink an hour ago.
Right.
And it's like, oh, you should have done some self-care, meditating, clean your aura, take deep breathing, any of that stuff each
Yep.
day.
I like Jennifer's energetic hygiene. But
Yes.
that's what self-care is, though. But that's what we
Mhm.
build our learn to. It's very hard to learn to do. Build our day around it. You
Yeah.
know. And I saw what Teresa said about that very empath skill helped her be an amazing nurse, but it didn't always stop us from draining ourselves. And I think that that's the part where being with like-minded people. One of the questions I've learned to ask myself is, what am I willing to help myself today to do?
Yeah.
It's a when you're feeling that, or to say to an empathic friend, what are you willing to do to help yourself today? Oh,
Right.
I'm just overwhelmed. I got all these things. What are you willing to do to help yourself?
Yeah.
Is an amazing question. Like, oh shit. So,
Right.
so
I mean, I'm all about those shit because
yeah.
that's like, ooh, okay, yeah. Even just taking 10 minutes outside, walking in the garden or walking outside or just going outside without your phone or without anything like that. Um, I feel like the phone these days is such a huge drain. I try not to be on it, but like, you can't help it with your business and, catching up with friends and things like that. But honestly, just putting your phone down and going outside for 10 minutes or more and just putting your face in the sun and feeling grateful for
Hmm.
that, and being with your pets or your children or your whoever, or just by yourself and just be with the sky and the clouds and the butterflies and the birds. I mean, that's just so grounding, and that's what we need is grounding. I feel like that's the message for the collective. Ground yourself, people. I'm feeling it. Oh, I just got chills.
Yeah, I think the mantra for that is Lam. That's the root chakra, to bring it back into balance. And even
Oh,
if you are a person with your phone, then set your phone to help you. Use it as a tool then. Oh,
yeah.
I can make my phone. There are all kinds of apps that you can say, time to meditate, time to put the music on.
Yeah.
Often at work, we really do forget we do have time to do stuff. Very famous as a teacher, you know, do as I say, not as I did. Um,
Right.
where I had a lunch 20 minutes. And what am I doing? I'm making a call. I'm doing, rather
Mhm.
than sitting quietly in my room and thinking about what I'm eating and turning that off. I did learn to do that with the kids, though, near the end of my career. When they would come in at recess, we did 10 minutes of silence. I didn't care if you played with Play Doh. I didn't care if you
Oh,
colored. I didn't care what you did. It was just silence. We did some breathing, and then we'd set the timer, and everybody, that's what they knew. So,
that's so great. And I bet the energy in the room just went,
oh, yeah.
that's awesome.
Okay.
I tell my husband all the time. He works from home and he sits at his computer, and I'm like, "Honey, are you gonna have lunch?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna make a bagel or whatever, and go sit at my desk." And I'm like, "Why don't you come outside with me?" And he's like, "Well, I can't." And I'm like, "Why? Everyone else gets lunch breaks and cigarette breaks and potty breaks." And I'm like, "You can sit out with me for 15 minutes and have your lunch in the sun and enjoy yours. Get out of that chair." And he's like, "Oh yeah, I didn't think of that." He just you just get in such a pattern, and you were probably making those calls on lunch because you're thinking, I'll just get it done now so I have to do it later and then I can go home and rest. But really, you're going home to make dinner and do laundry and let the dogs
Hmm.
out feed the kids. I mean, it never ends. So
And
I
that's why your schedule around your
there.
self-care
Yeah.
is rather than where can I put it in? No, no, no. Where do I start with it?
Mm-hmm.
Where are the natural breaks that I start with it, whether it's in the car and there's a meditation on the way home, or the hardest job I ever had, honestly, was when my son would get off the bus and he'd be in the classroom and I'd come in at the end of the day and go, shit, there's one more here. It's my kid. But there was never I enjoyed at least the drive home sometimes
Yeah.
before the next child. And he was a great kid. He was very independent, but sometimes it was like, oh, there's another one,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
um
No alone time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that, Robin. We are more present than we used to be. That is piece of what's happening, you know. So, and I love this. I'm watching Jennifer talk to Rachel and send
Yeah.
things, and that's what we're here for. We're all here to help each other.
Yeah.
All right, so it's 8:50. It's
Oh,
gone amazingly quick. Um,
yes.
I actually just got an idea, so I'll be reaching out to a couple people
Okay.
through this, or that because they're talking to me. So you want to pull some cards maybe and talk to us?
Oh my goodness. I wasn't prepared. Let me see what I have in my magic box.
Your
Cards.
magic, you can do it.
I
So,
can do it. No pressure. No
and
pressure.
if you have any questions for Kim, it's a good time to write them down after her the reading, and she can um, talk about it. And oh yeah, we're just doing the general cards for everybody, Sue.
Yeah, just like in collective
A
reading.
collective reading because we get 10 minutes left, and we have 25 people watching between the two groups, so that would take
Nice.
a little while. Yes,
Yes, I
happy to
would
have you all.
probably explode.
And
Okay.
for those people trying to want to reach Kim, across the bottom is scrolling where you can reach Kim. And where you
Yes.
can watch the replay of this program. It will be available on her channel, on our channel, and it will always be on the YouTube library. So,
That's awesome. Thanks for putting that down there. That's so cool. Yeah, I do have a monthly membership too, but you guys can see all that stuff on my website. So,
which is
anyway,
www.kimnichols.com, right?
yeah, it's
So,
just my name.
do
Dot
you
com.
have to have the capital N? I noticed it's in there. Will you
No.
be able to find? Okay, because sometimes the naming
Yeah.
configuration.
No,
So,
it's whatever. It doesn't have to have the capital N.
okay.
No, it's perfect. And my friend Elian saying hi, so I just want to say hi. Aw, and Sean, hi everyone. Okay. All right. Here's the card, you guys. You ready? Can you see it? Hold on. Hold
Oh, I
on.
love it.
Wait, hold on. It's not focusing. I
It's
have this trouble. Let's see.
it's the glare. It says courage, right?
Yeah.
What number is it? Or
Gosh
does it have
darn
a
it.
number?
Ugh, that's so annoying. There's no numbers on these cards.
Okay.
So it says courage and it has a big lion on it. I don't know. It's so hard to see.
We can see it though. We can
Okay.
basically get it. Yep.
Literally, all I'm hearing is look in the mirror and see who you are and show the world who you are. Be courageous enough to show who you are. Kitty, wear that shirt out and be courageous and show people who you are because we're not living for other people's lives. We're not living for other people, right?
Hmm.
This is our life. And I feel like it's our duty to share who we are with the world because we're all offering someone something different and we're benefiting other people with something that we have to offer. So why not just be your authentic true self and let yourself shine? Life is all about being courageous and being who you are and shining. And you know what? You are loved no matter what. Like, oh, it gives me goosebumps and almost makes me want to cry. Everybody is loved. It doesn't matter. Like, let it out. Be courageous. Oh my goodness. I could just go on and on, but that's that's the message, and it just really made me feel good.
I love that message. And yes, I will. I think what you've helped me understand is when I'm feeling like I would be willing to talk to people, I'll wear the shirt. If
Yeah.
I just want to slime my way in to go get the yogurt, probably not going to wear the shirt or put a jacket over it, because it is true. When our lights get brighter, people do come to talk to us. And
Mhm.
being prepared to have a boundary politely sometimes is important. But I actually am finding it happens to me less now, because I think I know which I'm much better with my vibration, my frequency, turn it down, turn it up.
Right. Right.
Hmm.
I'm the same way. I still get it, but not as much as I used to.
Hmm.
Um, and I think it is too. Like we learn how to turn our dial up or turn it down, and that's what. And then the result is how much interaction we get when we're out and about. It's interesting. It's really interesting. I don't know. I just the whole energy thing. Just I told you, I just geek out about it. But I get so excited.
Oh, I'm right there with you. I was just listening to a lady who was talking about, ready or not, we're moving. And if you decide to stay in the old frequencies and the old vibrations, that's where you'll be and that's what you'll see. But it's moving. And I
Mhm.
certainly see it. I see it in the trees, I see it in the animals, all
Mhm.
kinds of stuff. Oh, thanks, Jennifer. Um,
Aw,
so,
love you, Jennifer.
yeah, I
Oh,
love you too, Jennifer. Just, it's such a wonderful group of women and stuff. So, anyway, if people have a question for Kim, we've just got a few more minutes um, before we wrap it up. See, I told you, Kim, an hour goes like
I'm like, what? I'm not ready to go. No.
it does. It goes amazingly quickly.
We covered a lot, and it was just awesome. And I just love chatting with you and being in your presence. And thank you so much for having
Oh,
me.
you're
And
welcome.
it's a
Astrologically, guys, we've got a lot of reason to hang out together in the next few weeks.
yeah,
We're really multiplying this energy, and the stars are with us to send it forward, especially into 2023. But
yes, the
October's a big
stars.
month.
I
October's
have
a huge month.
I have little tiny stars all over my shirt.
Oh, you do? Yay! And I've got on my earrings. One of the ladies that was on, Daphne, with Daphne's Healing Hands, she does all this energy work. If you haven't seen her video, it's very interesting, Kim. But
Oh,
she makes jewelry and she instills the energy into the jewelry too. These
oh,
are
I love
moonstone and I
rose
have to.
quartz.
It's in that family. So and
Pretty.
I'm looking at my crystal grid for what's coming up and stuff. So
Oh,
anybody have a question for Kim in this last few minutes? You're getting a lot of thank yous.
I know.
Um,
Let me see. Well, actually, I think Rachel's asking you a question.
what does it say?
It says, I'm curious about the spiritual awakening. Is it like a moment or an ongoing thing? I don't feel like I've had my moment yet, but I feel like I jump started my journey in 2020, but it's been a slow learning.
I
Yeah.
think I'm going to answer it two ways. Um, for some people to knock in the head, it's the lightning bolt that um, if
Knocks you
you're
on your ass. It literally
yeah,
knocks
well,
you
if you're a
on.
scholar of the Bible, it was Saul that became Paul, got hit by lightning,
Hmm.
basically when he was awakened and called. Um, and for people, I'm one that it was an unraveling, and then you look back and go, oh yeah, that was that. Oh yeah, that was that. And so I think there are two kinds of awakening. I think the fact, especially Rachel, because I know all of the things that you're doing, you're been awakened.
Hmm.
Um, it's. Do you remember, Kim? How would you answer that question?
I would say for myself, it was in phases. I feel like I got like I guess kind of like hit in the face, and I'm like, oh, what is this? I don't know. And I feel so tired, and I just felt so gross, and like I just felt disorientated for like 4 or 5 days. Had headaches, I felt fatigue, I didn't understand. I wasn't sick, I just didn't understand. But now I'm understanding that's what those were, because every time after I went through a phase of that feeling, I felt like I upgraded, or new ideas came to me so easily, and they were just like, oh, and I'm like writing it down, or figuring it out, and like getting so excited. And that's how it happened for me. So
Yeah. I I found astrology very young, but I kept it secret. Um,
weird.
and I did. I kept it, and I realized still to this day I have this amazing amount of knowledge that I was just given, and I feel but very blessed for it. But I would say mine was phases too, um,
Mhm.
and crisis often brings them on. For me, it
Oh,
was a crisis in 2016, and then losing both of my parents in 2019, and it was a peeling away. But
yeah.
I'm also in the age of the crone. And so there's a whole lot of life experiences that has pushed me forward. I am so excited to see. Uh, by the way, Kim, you're kind of ageless. You could pass for a whole bunch of different decades.
Oh
You're
my
just
god,
you're
thank
just one of
you.
those ageless kind of people.
I don't
Um,
even know. I literally, like, what is a crone? Because I'm 50.
you're in the crone. This is the awakening of the crone age. So what a crone is.
No, I know what a crone.
No, but I mean, what a crone is, people say, oh, it's the old witch. No, actually, it's the old wise woman.
Oh yeah,
Um, and in our society, aging women are the most dispensable group of people.
interesting.
And yet they carry a huge amount of wisdom. So this is part of this awakening is women. And I'm so happy to see so many younger people, like so much better off than I was. God bless you. You
Yeah,
know, it makes the struggle being 62 feel good because um, you see that they're able to do things. They have their own challenges, younger women, but they're able to do things that I wasn't brave enough for a long time. So, you
yeah.
know,
Well, I don't know. It's just really, I don't know. I think it's so neat. I don't know, just growing. I feel like I turned a whole corner. I mean, when I turned 50 this year, I know, I can't even believe it. I still feel like I act
if you
like
told me you were 35, I'd go, yeah, that seems right. So, yeah, you
I
are
almost.
very, and I'm not, this is not smoke. You have that kind of ageless glow about you. It's
Aw,
amazing,
thank
you know.
you. Thank you. I've never had any surgery except for this stupid skin cancer, which scarred my face. But other than that, I don't do Botox. So it's chocolate. It's a lot of laughter and no more sun. So those are my three things that keep me young. But
So,
yeah, it's just interesting. And I always felt like I was an old soul. Like I just knew stuff. I don't know. I didn't.
hmm
And so maybe that's where it comes from.
yeah,
Ooh, with you too.
there's definitely a print in people's charts that show old soul and whatever. But yeah, I already knew stuff. Well, I've been listening to them for a long time. There were several times in my life I thought maybe I really am crazy because like there are a whole other group of knowing and people talking to me in my head, and I did not volunteer that often. But it wasn't really until I had a Akashic record reader say, you've lived at a level of psychic for most of your like, and I'm like, yeah, I kind of thought so, but I didn't know. And
Right.
and again, there wasn't people to talk to about it. I love to listen to Pam Gregory, who's she's about 10, 12 years older than I am, and she talked about how she's an astrologer in England, very well known, and but she was in real estate, and if they found out she was that, she would lose clients.
Oh my gosh.
And now that would actually attract people. So
Yeah.
now it's a much more wonderful um, uh, way to be. Like I said, I am so thrilled to see so many young women. I rejoice in the freedom that you have um, to explore this. And gosh, will you be powerful crones when you get there?
Yeah,
Because you're already very powerful, magical women. A lot of the younger folks seeing, and I find it so exciting, just so
I know.
exciting.
I got excited too. I got excited too
So,
when you said
you
that.
know,
So
so yeah, but you could have said 35 and I wouldn't say, see, she's one of those younger women. So.
shit, I would have said 38.
So,
I'd
you
take
know,
38 at this point.
hey, that's an 11. That's a magic number to me anyway. So,
Oh, and my
whatever.
birthday is on 11 too. So
What 11? What year? What month?
May 11,
Uh,
72.
5/11/72. I'm 11/11/60. So,
Oh,
yeah.
nice. You're double 11s.
I'm
Wow.
born in the 11th hour of the day, too.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Hmm.
Jeez, you just came in just
I
magical.
I came to do something.
Yeah.
So, one to fall away, one to remain. And that's been one of the funnest things about watching people talk about all these numbers and 11/11. I'm like, I've been looking at that for years. So,
That's
eh,
old news to me. It's fine.
so, but anyway, thank
Um,
you all for coming to watch. Please reach out to Kim if you have any questions. Come join us um, on Intuition of the Soul. We've got another. Uh, I think our next program will be in the middle of September.
I was like, wow.
Um, we've got some new things coming up this fall, like featured members, and come join us and come join if you haven't joined Kim's amazing. She also has a free group
Yeah.
um, that come join, and it's wonderful to see you all. Jennifer, please make sure you send me that link so I can post it on IOTS. Lovely merchandise, guys, all kinds of choices. I'm going to be buying a Scorpio. I haven't decided if it's a sweatshirt or a t-shirt. I'm going to be buying. Now that I'll wear anywhere. Don't
See?
be messing with me.
And
Scorpio.
you know what's
Yeah.
funny? Jennifer and my son have the same exact birthday.
Oh, they do?
Hmm.
Oh, wow.
They're both
That's cool.
Scorpios as well.
Yeah,
So,
that's very cool. So,
yeah,
but
Scorpios
yeah,
unite.
yeah. And no problem. Jennifer understands it's no problem walking around as a Scorpio, like, because there are a lot of people who go, "Oh shit, that's a
Yeah.
Scorpio," like. Um. So, but anyway, thank you all very much, guys.
I had
Um.
a great time.
I
Thank you,
had
Kitty. Thank you, everyone, for being here. So good to see everybody.
all right, and take care. We'll see you later. Bye for
Bye.
now. Blessings.
Yes.